right. So first off, I want to apologize for the congestion in my voice. It is allergy season here in Pittsburgh, so that's why it's a good thing, right? It's spring, the weather's turning, but that's when allergies start coming. So I do apologize. I don't know about you guys, but I am pretty much sick and tired of all the negative news that is coming out from our industry as of late. Seems like every article that I read, every post that I see, every video that I watch just has this negative tone to it, right? You're hearing words like ice age of the mortgage industry, and you're hearing words or phrases and outlooks like over the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be extremely difficult. Now, don't get me wrong. All of that is probably true. However, there's still a lot to be optimistic about. There's still a lot to be excited about. A lot of those negative articles and different posts like that I'm reading is comparing kind of the next 2 to 3 years to what had happened back in 2006 and 2007. We all know what happened, right? It was the housing crash, which then resulted in a recession for our economy. Really bad stuff. But there's 3 specific reasons why that's not going to happen. Now, again, I'm no expert and I don't want to predict anything. Things can change tomorrow. Things can change next month. But the information I'm about to share, these 3 specific things, hopefully shines some light and gives you a little bit of optimism over the next 3 to 4 years. So first one is millennial buying power. So if we look back at 2006 and 2007, the millennial generation was just too young, right? They were still in high school, still in college. They weren't a population that was looking to buy houses. Well, things have changed. If you look today, millennial buying power is stronger now than it has ever been. And a few points about that. A lot of the millennials out there looking to buy houses are going to be first-time home buyers. History and data has shown that first-time home buyers aren't really rate conscious. So obviously interest rates have been going up and up and up. But if you're a first-time home buyer, you probably save some money. You're probably very excited to get into your first house. You're most likely not going to be too concerned with the interest rate. So that's a positive factor. And then number 2, and this is actually, I looked up this stat and I read it, and it was pretty staggering to me. About 50% of adults between the ages of 18 to 34 are still living with their parents. Let me say again, 50% of adults between 18 and 34, which I fall into that category, but I'm not living with my parents. But that population of people, they're saving money by living with their parents. It creates better buying power. And it just creates a population of individuals where if I was a mortgage broker, if I was a loan officer, that demographic of people, I would be targeting them. 18 to 34, I would be targeting them. I would be trying to reach out to them, seeing what their plans are over the next couple of years in order regarding buying houses and things like that. Very, very strong demographic. So millennial buying power is very, very strong. That's point number 1 to be optimistic over the next few years. Point number 2. Back in 2006, 2007, the unemployment rate was a lot higher than what it is today. So right now, the unemployment rate is creating a very strong jobs market. A strong jobs market equals more people being able to afford to buy homes because they have jobs, they're saving money. Obviously, inflation is a factor in all of that. However, if you look at the historical data and you look at the data right now, since the unemployment rate is low, people are holding on to their jobs. A ton of companies out there outside of the mortgage industry right now for specific reasons, but a ton of companies out there are hiring like crazy. So jobs are out there to be had. When you have a job, you're able to have income, which gives you a little bit more ability and qualification to gain a loan in order to buy a house. So that's point number 2. The unemployment rate is extremely low, which is creating a very strong jobs market. Point number 3 is that current homeowners, which I fall under that category, have a ton of equity in their homes. Another stat for you, approximately 40% of homeowners have more than 50% equity in their homes. And when you compare that stat to back in 2006, 2007, it was flipped, right? There wasn't a ton of equity in homes back in 2006 and 2007, which, if you remember, you were hearing terms like houses were underwater, which basically means that you owe more on the loan compared to what the house is actually worth. That's not the case right now. Housing and, current homeowners, the houses that they houses that they own compared to the houses that are on the market right now. Very, very strong value, a lot of equity out there. What does equity do? Well, equity just gives you as a homeowner a little bit more leverage to look into taking equity out of your house in order to do a cash out. I mean, there's different HELOC options out there. So that's point number 3, right? Whenever you have a lot of equity in your house, whenever current homeowners have that equity, they just have more options to do a possible refinance, depending, regardless of what the interest rates are, to take equity out of that house in order to put it back into maybe another property that you want to buy, or maybe back into the current property to do some renovations or something like that. What that also creates is just very little incentive for homeowners to actually not pay their mortgage and go into foreclosure, which is the biggest point and the biggest reason why we had the issues that we had back in 2006 and 2007. If you have a ton of equity in your house and something unfortunate happens in your life, there's a really good chance you could probably sell that house or at least refinance that house into a better loan rather than just not making your mortgage payments because you have so much equity in that house. So those are the top 3 things. Millennial buying power is super strong, which is, creating a ton of opportunities for that specific demographic, 18 to 34, to be first-time home buyers and get loans. Unemployment rate is very low, which means that it's a very strong jobs market, and there's a ton of equity in current homeowners housing in order to just give them different options out there for refinancing, purchasing a new investment property, something like that. And I also want to share a quick little bonus reason to be optimistic. In times like these, when everything seems to be compressing, right? Margin compression, industry compression, meaning that lenders are out there either downsizing or laying people off, unfortunately, or completely shutting down. What that does, though, and from an optimistic standpoint, is create a ton of creativity. It just breeds creativity, meaning that people, right, account executives like myself, loan officers, brokers, companies in general, are just they have to be extremely creative right now, because what you were doing a couple years ago, even last year, is not going to work right now, right? So you have to be creative, whether that means new creative marketing techniques, whether that means new creative loan products for different lenders out there. It's just going to breed creativity, and if history tells us anything, creativity usually results in a positive impact on the overall industry. So hope that gives everyone out there a little bit of optimism about what we can expect over the next few years. I know things are tough right now for everybody, but there is some things to be excited about, and there's some things to be optimistic about.